To add new procedures, it's a fairly simple process of simply utilizing the templates. So if your mouse is on the database, you will see a blue button over here called New. And when you click on the down caret for that blue button, you will see all 31 currently of these. Obviously, more can be added by you. Some can be taken away by you. But you would just literally choose, like if we were getting ready to do a ballpark estimate, we would just click that one. That procedure would open up as a new procedure. Then you would follow the instructions on the screen. It's that simple. But who creates these may be different for different users, different companies with different numbers of employees and different people with different responsibilities. I see in a company that has an administrator, maybe the owner, possibly a scheduler, sometimes just an office administrator would be doing this, but someone could be creating all of these fairly quickly for each project and assigning them to a team member. And so they would show up on their dashboard. Another way of doing it, probably not as effective as far as planning, but as far as just making sure everybody does what they need to do in the order they need to do it, is that they would either come to this page or come to their dashboard and to the portal that is showing all of the procedures and look and see what was created last. If nothing was created, they would start with ballpark. But if something was already there, let's say engineering, and they saw engineering at the top of this list, then they would go create the next thing, the material acquisition for carcass. So each person who would be responsible for that could create these themselves. But again, I see someone in the company creating these and assigning them to someone being probably the most effective way. It's the task that you'll do, and it's the task you'll do next. And so I think that very, very flexible in how you go about doing this. Feel free to do it however you would like to do it. But I see these being added by somebody. Maybe you would refer to that person as your systems champion. Maybe you would have a shop foreman that would do it. Maybe the owner would always do it. When you do create one, I'm going to open one of these just to show you. I think I'll go to something that does not as long as finish. Let me click out of that so I can scroll here. We'll just go to engineering. It's as good as any. But when you do create one of these, you literally have step-by-step instructions as far as the person actually doing it. Creating it doesn't mean you're going to do it. But if you create it, you should do these first few steps and check them off. So let's say you've created this. Now these will be checked because I'm opening something that already exists. But you should clock in. You should name it. So that's coming up here, and it's already going to say new engineering, and you're going to replace new with remodel or Chapman 114 or whatever the project name is, and check that box. And then you're going to link it using this side menu structure here. You're going to link to the project there, then check that box, and then you're going to link to the project data there, check that box, and then you're going to link to the rooms. And this particular one only has one room, but sometimes you might have 4, 5, 8, 10 rooms. Link to all the rooms, and then check that. And as far as somebody creating this, at that point, this would already be at engineering. This is at the end because I opened something that was already existing. So this would already be at engineering, or if it wasn't, you would set it to engineering because that's where you're at. You're at engineering. So you'd set this to engineering, and then as the instructions say here, you'd set to in progress. And then you would check this box, and then you'd clock out if you're not going to do it yourself. If you're not the one that is going to do it, you're just creating it, you would just clock out. You'd be done. And that would be registered as part of the time for this process. Whoever created its time would be tracked here. And then the next person to come in and actually do it would clock in as soon as they open it, and then jump straight to process and start working through these things and checking these things off. When they got done, they would come to maintenance, and they would follow these instructions, change this to material acquisition, and change this to not started, and clock out, and that time would be recorded. And if somewhere in the middle they needed to take a break or a lunch break, or it was the end of the day, they would clock out, come back the next day, clock back in, finish up, clock out. So that's how adding these procedures works.